Welcome, welcome, everyone. Wow. Let me start our podcast by telling you a little bit about ImPowered Global again. And I just, watching that video, just kind of, it touches my heart in such an amazing way. And so I'm so excited to be able to have this amazing conversation today with Rukiya. I'm so excited about it. So let me tell you a little bit about us. We empower the movement and at ImPowered Global. I hope you don't hear any feedback. Let me try to mute a little bit there. At ImPowered Global, our mission is to create and foster environments of full engagement that help encourage, build, and empower women, young adult ladies and girls to be excellent in everything that they choose to accomplish, regardless of hurdles, ethnic background, or generational successes or failures. Our forums at ImPowered Global, they foster spiritual, emotional, and social awareness that in turn are going to build unity, community, knowledge, and self-confidence, which are essential as it relates to their growth and their wise application of social, environmental, economic, and life skill development success. And guess what? We also promote social justice. And that's why we are so excited to talk to this amazing woman of God. It is with humble service that I unite with this bold sister, Rukiya Abdul Mutakallim, in an effort to bring light to such a very dark world. And, over the past week, I've had some really amazing conversations with her, very long conversations, I might add, and realized that we both are headed in the same direction of activism and advocacy, of awareness of and prevention of violence, racism, and fascism. And, I tell you, in talking with her, we realized that we seek, with many other spiritual individuals around the world, to be the voice of the voiceless. We seek change that, we personally hold ourselves accountable to. We seek light, we seek love, and we most importantly seek forgiveness and healing. And I tell you, myself and the cast also at 8 p.m. here at ImPowered Woman, we consider it a blessing and a privilege and an honor to be able to speak with Sister Rukiya, not only right now, but also at 8 o'clock tonight. And we ask that you begin to share this in YouTube, begin to share this in Facebook, to sisters all around the world. Share this podcast with them. Sister Rukiya Abdul Mutakallim is the face of Stop VRF movement, Stop Violence, Stop Racism, and Stop Fascism movement. She is the founder and CEO of the Musketeer Association. And I'm going to ask you all to please get ready to type, share, take a picture of the screen later on here shortly, actually, and go to her website. It's www.themusketeerassociation.net. I got it right this time. In 2015, her entire life changed. And as she's healed, she's become a voice for the voiceless. And tirelessly, she began to lead and join other spiritual people, spiritual leaders in the movement to eradicate, as she says, the pandemic of trauma. Okay. And without further delay, I want us to have this amazing conversation with this Sister Rukiya Abdul Mutakallim. Are you there, my sister? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. And Evangelist Denise, you bowled me over, absolutely bowled me over. So I feel as if, I'm like, is she talking about me? No. She's talking about herself. This is this woman. And I feel like I'm looking in the mirror when I look at her and listen to her, even looking on her pages and the things that she's done over the years. And she too have been traumatized. But the way in which to at least deal with the trauma, because I promise you won't ever forget it. But she had learned to deal with it. She learned to reach out and embrace what happened to her and learn from it, and then try to help others not experience it. That truly, I don't even know how to say that to all of you. I know the pain.
Yes.
I love my son, and I never refer to him as was. It will never be, never, because his spirit is still with us,
That's
even though he's
right.
physically not here. So his purpose when he went to that neighborhood was to help.
Tell
How
us
could
more.
I bring any less than what he went there to do? I would not be honoring him nor my own belief system that I taught him. There's no way. And so, spiritual people of the earth, we have the same type of belief pattern where we understand that if you want to get rid of the bad, if we get to down to the bottom line, the evil, it takes good to do that.
It takes light. You are saying
And
it, my sister.
you
It
have
takes
to
light.
want to do good. And
Hmm.
you can't do good if you're coming with vengeance,
That's
with
right.
a hurt inside of you that you haven't healed. So part of her mission is exactly my mission. So it ends
Yes.
up being one mission. We're just coming from different directions, but it's the
Right.
same.
Going in the same direction, right?
Right, we come from this direction, ended up on the same path, going in the same direction. So I am I'm more than honored by it. I am humbled
Bless
by
you.
her, truly.
Absolutely.
And all the people that have been centering around her. Last week was the first time I met everyone, and I'm telling you, I'm in love with all of them.
We love you
Absolutely.
too.
I could be their mother, brother, father, sister, all of that. I'm good.
We love it. We love it. I tell you, the cast is super excited about chatting with you later today too, Sister Rukiya. They are just so ready because it's just a lot of wisdom and a lot of love and a lot of light that we share. And you've already kind of tapped on, you know, a little bit of how we got here. I
Yeah.
know that I know that you have, you're not new to the movement because you were with the civil rights movement. So you're not new to
No, no.
and so I know that. So I know that muscle's there. And I love that about you, and that passion is there. I know that what happened in our discussions, what happened with your son, it just brought it home. And so many are moved by your story. I know you didn't want to be there, but like you said, it was ordained. Your son did a lot of good things, and he was still moving in that to do great things, and you basically just took that baton, and said, listen, we got to keep this thing going. My son he is. And so I'm going to move forward in this thing. And so your story of healing, of pain to triumph, of him being a victim at that time to being a victor, how you're carrying it on. It just moves us so much. And that's why we are great. We are just grateful to talk to you today. So, for the viewers, the individuals that want to support the movement, the Musketeer Association movement, because we got to dive all in there. Tell us how we got here first, and then I do want to talk a little bit more, a lot more about the Musketeer Association. I want to talk about the press release. I want to talk about the petition of the movement. I want to talk about how we get involved. I want to talk about the follow up. I want to talk about all of it in a short period of time, and then we're going to talk more at 8. So how did we get here? I know I said a lot, but how did we get here? If you can tell me that.
My son's story, though some may seem not unique. And it really, in the sea of all the fallen in these streets I'll take you back to 1996, because I don't think you can fathom back to when I was a child in the civil rights. You have only a smidge, and some of it's lies. The truth about it is so sometimes unbearable to see, and I still see it. I have to see it. But 1996, I can take you back to there. You can fathom that, and all that have fallen on these streets. For whatever reason, everyone, they were still children when they came into this world. And children, knowing this, children are born with 5 things. Every child even the ones who may have handicap challenges mentally or physically. They're born with 5 things, and you must always remember this because you didn't put it in them. They're born with light in their eyes, joy in their voice, hope in their hearts, a curious mind, and a desire to reach up, always looking up. And you remember they're pushing chairs and everything else to go up high. They got Tories down all around them, and they see something up high all the time, and they're moving, trying to figure out a way to go get that. That is the desire to learn. You understand? So when you take that out of them, that was given to them, and every child is like that, when they're born, what you're doing is not encouraging them to keep looking up. You're encouraging them to reach down and pick up any and all weapons to hurt themselves. It could be drugs, gun, knife, any bludgeoning instrument to hurt, because they've now been hurt by you. Traumatized, the wrong, absolute way, from whether it's molestation or you're whipping them. Now, number one, if you unabridge the word whip, you would never do it again. And you will understand that we were taught that back in slavery days. Mm-hmm. We did not bring that off the shores of Africa.
Come on.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting passionate again.
Keep it. No.
But I'm going to take, look, everyone just understand. Every child we're responsible for.
That's right.
Every child. This is a universe of one. Wow. No matter which way you look, it's one. So if we understand this as spiritual people, I didn't say religious. I'm not religious. Right. I'm going to tell you that now. And Muslims really aren't religious. We are spiritual people. That's why we can identify with so many others of our own. Felt heart here. This is the heart. And we understand we must always stay connected to that which created all in order to be connected to all around us and have a respect and a appreciation for the beauty, no matter what it is. And make sure we're honoring that. Mm-hmm. and giving space, safety, security to all.
Safety and security, that's huge.
So when my son, who elected to move into an area that was filled with, even when the sun would shine, with hopelessness, depression, fear, a lot of injustice going on there. Lots of injustice behind closed doors and right in the public eye.
Right.
He just wanted to help to show them that being poor just means being poor. You can still be kind and give a helping hand, smile, and clean your own streets.
Right.
So that was something he said to me when I asked him, how long do you plan to stay here? Because he didn't have to. He had the ability, indeed he did, to live wherever he wanted. But he just wanted to help because he was raised with that understanding. If you've been granted a favor, because none of you get to choose what family you're born in, the tongue, the skin color, the eyes, the hair.
You can't just take it off.
Nothing. And no other parents get to you. There wasn't a magazine, a Cyril Roebuck magazine. You know Cyril Roebuck magazine. And there it is. Okay, there. Oh, there's Denise. I think, I want her. No. Mm-hmm. So we must get over that. That's arrogance that leads us away from each other.
That's right.
We need to bring back that which spiritually connects us. We didn't get the choice, not even the land. So with that, when my son chose that, I couldn't grab him by the ear and say, now he's in his 30s now. I grab him by the ear and say, you can't do that, son. He's a man. I have to let a man be a man. Just as I have to let a woman be a woman. You're adults, they got to grow up. And if they go with the intent not to harm, which was always a practice, we reminded each other every morning, when you go forth, go with the intention not to harm. Did I say go forth with good? Did I say that? I said you go forth with the intention not to harm. Because what may be good for somebody may be bad for another somebody. You have to understand the way the innate laws work. But if you go with the intention not to harm, you do far more good than you do bad.
Please type that in the comments. The intent not to harm.
Go forth with the intent not to harm.
Go forth with the intent not
to harm.
Please put that in the comments. Please, somebody, even if it's 500 times, you know.
So just to quickly tell you, his story was helping. And when he set out that night on a Sunday night to go get food for him and his family to enjoy, he walked under a poorly lit overpass in that neighborhood. He went to the ATM. He took $60 out of the ATM. He's always been taught, only carry enough money for the week.
Wow.
Don't make yourself a victim, but always be able to help victims. You understand? Don't make yourself a victim, but be able to help victims, always. So he took out what he needed, went and got the food from a fast food restaurant, was returning under the same poorly lit overpass, which is only a half a block from where he lived. Half a block. He was that close to being home, safe.
Wow.
Three assailants walked up behind him, shot him in the back of the head. They didn't even say, Denise, they didn't say, stick him up. They didn't say, give me your money. They didn't say that. He fell in the gutter. He wasn't even born in a gutter. And if I had known what was happening to him, I certainly would have been praying, Lord, please don't let my child die in a gutter. But I didn't know. Of course I didn't know. But then they robbed him. They took $40 off his person, $40. His cell phone and the food he was taking home for his family to enjoy. And what horrified me, which really quicked me to my bones, is that they walked away. They didn't run. You would think, okay, I've done a really horrible thing. I'm going to run, get away. They walked away. He was still alive with his head, the brains spilling. Wow. With his brains. Wow. And they could have called 911 with his phone. They didn't have the empathy. We say rahma. They didn't have the empathy to call 911. No one would have known who they were. So when I saw that they were children, it wasn't, I really was expecting men, not children. Because children have that empathy already in them. You cry? The child's like, why you crying? Mama, don't cry. What's the matter? They don't even know. Children cry when other children are crying. What happened to that empathy? And I had to know. Because I know the 5 things children are born with. That's an innate law. We don't control that. Who took it out of them? How? So that happened to my son. And I really had to investigate. So 2 years of investigation while they're still trying to try these boys. They remanded them from juvenile court onto adult court at the age of 14, 16, because a 25-year-old is still out there to mislead. Yes, that is a whole nother that I deal with every single moment. Why is it every single moment? Because he can mislead other children. They are just like kids. And I'm fighting this hard to get this violence, racism, fascism stopped. It starts here first with us. What are we doing? What has happened to us? Some of us are hurting our own selves. Our children are cutting themselves. What's going on? And the only solution I can find is that they don't understand forgiveness. They don't understand mercy. They don't understand what it means to do good. It really is the intent to go forth to do no harm.
Do no harm.
You have to have that in your persona.
And you always say, every time we talk, it starts with the heart. It starts with the heart. Wow.
Everyone, I mute us because every now and then there's a feedback, and I don't want you to miss anything this lady has to say. I don't want anything to be too misconstrued when I say something. And I have such a drive about this. Sometimes I just want to have you all right there. Like when I'm a history buff. Okay. So studying about what happened in Africa, come on, our history, and studying about all tribal histories of all people, there was always this group and the vintage people you gather around. The children and the mothers and fathers would be around, and there would be the vintage ones telling the stories, lamenting about their past, what happened, even some of the battles they fought to get to where they are now, and being the kind of tribe that's helping each other and caring for each other. I want to gather you all up and put you around me and say, please listen, just listen. If you want to stop the challenges that you're having that are man-made, that you're doing to yourselves, start right here.
Start with the heart.
Start with that heart.
And you know, sister, for many people who know me, know I'm a talker. I'm all ears right now. And and my prayer is that everyone has stopped what they are doing. If you are even in your car right now, if you pull over and really listen to what our sister is saying, you know, many of us, and my tears, let me say this, my tears are tears of joy that you are able to move on and continue this movement and continue to want to reach not just thousands, but millions of people. Because if you reach millions directly, they reach another 2, 3, 4, you know, each one, teach 1, 2, 3. I don't stop at teach one, teach. And so my prayer is that everyone is hearing you, because you could have easily stopped after you lost your son. You could have stopped. You could have not moved. You could have, just really just given up. You could have. We have free will. We have choices, and you didn't. And so I want everyone to hear that, because, there's so much more that you can do with this light that you are, and you're always, let me tell everyone, she's always like this. She's always a ball of light, just light, and always wanting to help, and always wanting to get the message out that we have to stop, not just stop the violence, but have conversations about this. Don't be quiet about it. We have to talk about what happens when our young people are influenced by the 25-year-old that I didn't even know that until now, but still out there. What happens when, they get in the system and then they can't get out the system? What happens? And like you said this in your interview, it's not just that one life that they took. Yes. Come off mute, please.
All the lives that surround that life, that's connected to that life.
Yes.
And you will never forget.
Never.
They're not going to forget you, and you're not going to forget them.
Exactly.
Okay? It just won't happen. We are not wired that way until we hit senility. And that is a whole different ball of wax.
That's another podcast. That's another conversation. That is for sure. You got about 10 more segments of this with you, I tell you, because you're right. There's so many branches to this.
Yeah, so many
that have to be talked about. They have to be conversaluted, as I say. Clemmy Greenlee gave me that word, conversalute. It's not just a conversation, but a conversolution, because the goal, and you have solutions. You have
Yes.
solutions, things that you're actively working on in this movement. And so I want to talk about that.
Give me a moment to at least let them know that when I looked into those boys' lives, and I did, I found out the one I hugged in court, 14 years old at the time the crime was committed. By the time I saw him again 2 years later, he's now 16 and as tall as my son is.
Wow.
Tall as my son and my other son. Tall. He, at that time of 14, his mother, who was 33 at that time, do the math, people, don't be lazy. She conceived him through molestation. She, as a child, was molested. Do you understand? People, I beg you to understand that when you talk about mercy, if you don't understand that, whatever forgiveness you think you're doing, it's all about you. Mercy is about who has been suffering. The child came about through molestation, a child having a child, and she refused to kill her child. How could my heart not melt for her? I'm the one that said, go forth to do no harm. How then am I going to hold this vengeance or this disdainfulness for her when she herself was already put in a very challenging situation as a child? Her parents kicked her out because she refused to kill her child. Now, I have a large, as Muslim, we're not supposed to take a child's life from conception. We don't do that. You carry that seed. Okay, you carry it. Now, you might give it away as adoption, but you do not kill that child. It's not the child's fault. And the child comes with 5 wonderful blessings for you, favors for you. Though, even though she may not have known that, I knew that. That's what my faith teaches. So if I did not obey my Lord, what a hypocrite would I be? And my child was doing just trying to do no harm. I would be what? I would be that hypocrite if no wonder my child would have been taken from me. But I wasn't, and I couldn't do that. Yes, it took a lot of prayers, sleepless nights, crying to the Creator only. And I didn't cry, why me, Lord? Why my son? No. As he opened the doors, showing me what was happening in my own backyard with children being molested, children being put in closets with clothes hangers on their ear, clothes hangers. Mothers and fathers getting sexual favors from their children. Are you kidding me? A small child. So after 2 years, he softened my heart even more, and he gave me the inspiration. When I stood in the court, I had no idea what I was going to say. I knew I had to speak, but I asked him to make my words, his words, the people to hear the truth. And when I spoke and I finished and I was heading back to my seat, that young man on his own turned around and said, Miss Abdul, I am so sorry for the part I played in harming your child. No one turned to him. And I heard it here. And I'm in tears. And I knew that I couldn't just run to him. I had to ask permission, asking permission so you do no harm. And I asked him first, may I hug you? And I asked the court, and then I asked his mother. Why? Because she has no say in his life now. It's done till he's out again. Done. She can say nothing. They can do whatever they want to her.
That's right.
She'll have no say.
That's right.
But all of them in unison said, yes, you can approach him. He said, yes, please. And she said yes, and the judge said yes, all in unison. And I rushed to him. And when I hugged him, I felt his heart. And we're both crying. And I told him, I will do everything I can to keep my promise and help your mother and help you so that you see a better way of life.
You are the face of forgiveness. I wish I could just, I listen, I'm hugging you, okay? I am hugging you. Wow.
So I wanted everyone to hear that which you didn't see. And there's more to the story, but right now, she's got the right, it's taken me to, I really didn't know all of this was going to transpire. It's not like I woke up one morning and said, hey,
Yeah.
you know what? People need to listen to me. If I could have just faded away from everyone,
I bet.
I was still already living my life. My life only has expanded. I was quietly living my life. I was content. I'm in the vintage years of my life. Yes, people, I'm vintage. I will be 70 in 3 weeks.
Now you said it. I didn't say it, and I love it.
I'm proud of every bit of what I've earned to this age. So yes. I've earned it. Good, bad, indifferent. I've earned it, subhanAllah. So I could have, but that was not the reason of his sacrifice.
Right.
He had done no harm, literally none. He wasn't a saint. I don't know many saints, and neither do you. But he had lived his life with an Islamic understanding and was going about his life. So when this happened, I got a clear picture of understanding. The Creator is trying to wake us all up.
Right.
Especially the spiritual people of this earth, because we can absolutely change this to the better.
That's right.
We can eradicate the pandemic of trauma. We can stop racism. We can stop, and I'm going in this order this way because it actually starts there. That racism feeds onto violence because there's something about you didn't like about somebody else and you started harming them because of your racist behavior and your thinking. Whether it's a boy or a girl, they got kinky hair or straight hair or whatever the society has fooled you into believing is beauty. Okay, so then on top of that, racism, you're going to bully me into being your way? You're going to bring what? You're going to make me think like you? If you don't, you're going to take away my food? Good luck on that. You're going to take away my living? Good luck on that. Because that's what fascism does.
Right.
All right. So all the three are fed by trauma. It is the disease.
A disease.
And we have not been treating it properly for the last 50 years. I'm not even going to address the 500, not yet. But you can believe we will be addressing it.
We will
when
be
it's time,
that.
inshallah, the Lord willing, that's what we're going to do. And it's going to start with us. How do we see each other? How do we see ourselves of our own kind? Why are we hurting each other? Why are we thinking this is because it's straight, it's beauty? Excuse me? Mm-hmm. We have the mixture of all hairs. Look at us across the rainbow. All of it is beautiful. All of it has wonderful significance to it. Why aren't we embracing it all? So we start with that. when we deal with the 500 years. Right. And everybody else will get in order because now you love yourself.
Wow. Love yourself. You love yourself. You said it starts with racism.
It does.
And you said violence.
And it goes into that violent behavior.
That violent behavior. Yeah. And it can become a vicious cycle. I heard you also say, and please type this in the comments, family, eradicate the pandemic of trauma.
Does anyone even, the way the word sounds, you know it's something that's really going to just destroy, eradicate. It really does mean end it.
End it.
It doesn't say, let's do some by some by some. No. If you unabridge this word, it stops, destroys, gets rid of completely.
Flush
you want to get rid of a germ? What do you use? Oh, just plain water?
No.
Or do you grab that Clorox and throw it in there? And you're like, I don't like the smell, but I know you're dead.
I know you're going to
work. So instead of, we've been antidoting this problem for the last 50 years to 60. So now we need to do what's called antibiotic and probiotic projects, approaches to this. And that's why Stop VRF became a nationwide campaign, because it's not just happening right here. It is happening everywhere across our neighborhoods, our communities, our cities, our nation. So why not make a national call to all spiritual people who get this, because that's the only ones that are going to get this.
And we have an obligation. Spiritual people have, and we cannot forget that. We have an obligation. We can't just wave our hand and say we're spiritual just because it seems like a fad. It's not. It is a commitment. It is a responsibility, and it starts with the heart. We can't just, wait until, the respective days of our spirituality. It has to be every single day. We have to be mindful of those moments, every single moment, that we make a difference. We make a difference how we talk to people, how we respond to people, what we vote for. Well, that's a whole nother discussion. Maybe, that is a whole nother discussion.
You're right when he talks about the vote also, because it's all a part of our life, and we need to have our heart center balance, not too far to the right, not too far to the left. Your body does better. The reason why some people get too skinny or too fat, because there's not a balance in their system. And every system has a difference, and you need to know what balance is your system. You can't have too much acidity. You cannot have too much acidity. So you have to understand that it is for the whole of our existence to balance ourselves.
And every little bit helps. Some people think, it's all or nothing. No, every little bit that you do, and maybe little bit's not the right word, every action, every initiative, every conversation, every event, every cause that you go into the website, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, and you sign the petition, that brings you back into the focus of, this is real, I've got an obligation, I'm going to concentrate on it. So every response that I have to someone, every conversation that I have with someone, every thought that I have, it's going to contribute either positive or negative to the big picture, the violence, the racism, or the fascism. How do I respond to somebody? I'm going to go there. How I respond when someone cuts me off in traffic. How do I respond to the child that I know that's a friend of my child that is acting out in school, and I saw it. Yes. How do I respond? Do I ignore it? Because it starts there. Like you said, this young lady had her child out of being molested.
Yes.
So some things started there and how she may have raised him. You just never know. And the environment that she was placed in, the things that happened to her, the
Oh,
things that happened to
yes.
him, that
Yes.
made them think it was okay to do what they
Yes.
did. To make them think it was okay to walk out of their house that day with an intent to harm. Somewhere along the way in the life of those young people, things went wrong. And somewhere along the way, they came in contact with, and I'm going to put it out there, a spiritual person who could have said something or done something that could have made a difference. Because we have free will. And I have to throw that out there, that everything counts. And so we have an opportunity to make a difference now.
I agree. I
We have an
totally agree.
opportunity.
You said it so succinctly and with, I hear our feedback, but succinctly and with every syllable, you expressed it in a way that anyone listening could get it. And that's the point of it. I know that people seem to think religion and spiritual, they're one and the same. No, you need to underbridge the word and understand they're not. And remember that we had different prophets that came and brought messages across the world to different people. He beautified this world. I love my flowers. I have 3 gardens, a berry garden, flower garden, and a vegetable garden. And each one has its own uniqueness and beauty. That is the world of mankind. Again, you didn't get to choose this. You didn't walk around like, hey,
I can't just take it off. I can't just take this off.
and
like I changed a shirt.
or that you hate it. Why are you hating on this? Don't you think he's most wise? You say it, then believe it. So it's about the spiritual connection. And children don't come out with a particular religion. They come out spiritually, though. And they are so wonderful. How can you look at any child and frown unless something happened to you here? So it's not that you have to run out and grab every child or grab a person and say, what happened to you? No, look at you first. Please start looking at you. Look at you. What have you picked up of a bad habit and started making a condemnation based on someone's color or the voice or the eyes or the hair or the clothes or what they have and don't have? And what are you doing? When all that we are given are favors from the Creator, and some get a little more, some get a little less, but those who get a little more are supposed to reach back and help others. Reach back, help them in the best of manner, and not ask for you to thank me. You give thanks to the Creator. He gave you this. Whatever it is, He gave it to you. Now share it and be grateful and humbled by it. Now, I can't tell you how to do that. I can show you, though. I can show you by the way I lived my life. I couldn't hate them. Our faith tells us not to hate when we know the truth. I knew what happened to them. I can never hate them. And if I'm not to help them directly, then I want to help others like them. And that's where I am right now. And I went to different agencies and organizations and started talking to them, but they didn't hear me. They didn't hear the message. So you know what he said? Like he said to Noah, build this under our eyes. We'll bring who you need. Build this under our eyes. Obey.
Love it.
And know that you're standing on truth, and don't you waver.
Don't you waver.
the children. Save the 3 Bs, babies, butterflies, and bees.
Tell me more.
The 3 Bs,
The three
babies,
Bs, come on.
butterflies, and bees. They are the future of mankind. If mankind wants to have a future, it's got to do better by the 3 Bs. So, I talk too much.
No, you do not. Listen, I'll tell you, because listen, I'm a talker. So I want everyone to hear the full brevity of this conversation. I really do. And so you are definitely not talking too much. I want to make sure this is an environment of light. We don't shut people. We don't do that. That's not how we roll with ImPowered Woman. So we just thank you for your passion. We thank you really for all of the wisdom that you, and we know, again, we're not stopping here. We gotta, as long as we are, the creator, the most high God, our source is allowing us to be here. We're going to keep running this race together of light and love, because it starts with the heart. And so, no, we will definitely not stop you from talking, but we got to talk. We got a few more minutes, and there's going to be a part 2 of this thing, and a part 3 and a part 4, because we got to talk about it. I definitely, you gave us a little teaser about the 3 Bs. I got to go into tell me about the Musketeer Association. I want individuals to hear about it. I want them to go to the musketeerassociation.net. I want them to join the movement. I want, it's great for people to hear, as I say, excuse me, as the word says, not only be hearers of the word, but be doers of the word. So it's great for people to hear, but we need to do. So we want to hear more. Come on, give us something about tell us about the Musketeer Association and how we can join the movement.
Well, the Musketeer Association is all about calling out to all the spiritual people of the earth to come together and introduce projects that are antibiotic and probiotic in nature, that go into the community, so that you see any monies that you're donating go into the communities to do the aim of it, which is to eradicate the pandemic of trauma. It's absolutely, stop it. Just stop it. So helping people heal, adjust, understand why they're still hurting, even from 15, 20, 30 years ago, of something that happened to them, but no one really helped them to address what happened. A child of 3 years old, I've read in the newspaper, this child, 3 years old, had already been sexually molested. And do you really think that child won't remember? We have a brain pattern that actually does better than the computer, and it imprints on our brain in the cortex here. Go to cortex, imprints there. Now, how that child heals so that it can deal with whatever will come forward from that is dependent on the environment that that child is surrounded by. But we've got people dealing with things way back, and they haven't healed.
Haven't addressed
so that you're talking, hurting people are hurting other people. So the Musketeer Association came about to bring people together who said, in other different agencies, they're not listening. We're not getting things happening. Children's bodies are still piling up. We've got police that are killing. We've got governors who are part of it. We've got all kinds of religious people causing sexual. I don't even want to go there. I'm not even touching that. And I said religious. Didn't I say that? I didn't say spiritual. Did I say that? No. So listen, folks, listen. So with all that happening, people were looking for a platform. The Musketeer Association is a platform for spiritual people to come together to do projects that are perpetual in nature and have antibiotic and probiotic in nature approaches that are ongoing, so that we pass this on to the next generation, because trauma can recycle itself back, just like COVID. Yeah. Only it's worse than COVID. Okay, it's worse than COVID.
And I gotta go back to one thing you said real quick. Thank you, sister. One thing you said, and I want to make sure everyone takes a note of this, a mental note, and then you will later go back, prayerfully right after this podcast, if you can make the time to go back and do your research. when she talks about violence, violence is such a broad, we're not talking about just crime with a gun, or we're talking about all violence, right? We're talking about sexual assault violence. We're talking about domestic violence. We're talking about gun. We're talking about cutting yourself. We're talking about, did you say verbal violence? Is that what you said? All right, verbal abuse.
Verbal. Oh my Lord.
All of it. We could go, and listen, violence. Stop VRF is all violence, racism and fascism. You know, sister, one of the viewers did ask a question for you to give a definition of fascism, if you can give them kind of a high level of what that means. Obviously, people can look it up, but they wanted to know a little bit more about the Musketeer Association as it relates to stopping fascism.
Fascism, the best way in which to, first of all, know about it is unabridge the word. It only has 3 descriptions of fascism. That's how specific this word is, and not broad, like the word law. You can't have law this, or law, or something the law. Law is the law. Mm-hmm. It has 1 description, law, ruling. Fascism has 3 unabridged definitions of it, or descriptions of it. And it is a noun, okay? Which means that it specifically means to harm you. It does not come with good. It is not moving forward with the intent to do no harm. It means to oppress, to bring down, to control, to shackle, like our ancestors were shackled to be brought to this country. Fascism. It is an evil. It means no good. And Stalin from Italy, very clear. Learn your history. Germany, learn your history. Rome, Greece, all of them. A single individual or group having control of a massive amount of people their way, and only pulling to get whatever they want from that group of people. Fascism. It's not fair. It has no particular care for your justice. It only wants to eat and suck the blood out of you for their own greed. Fascism. Look it up. I promise. You're going to hate that word, as you should, because it should never enter your heart.
That's
you
right.
Shouldn't treat your families like that. Our mother and father oppressing their families. You don't need to do that. A father coming in, throwing the mother against the wall because what? She didn't cook the kind of food he wanted? Mm-hmm. Fascism. And if you have any symptom of it, please start working on getting rid of it, because it starts right here.
It starts in the heart.
Right here. I pray that answers your question, but more than anything, unabridge. I didn't say abridge. You're like, what's unabridged? That means you get the full meaning of a word to get the true understanding of what it means in a paragraph, in a sentence, or when it's coming out of your mouth.
That's right.
Now, if I seem a little angry with this, because fascism really, whenever you say it, you should hurt your stomach.
Yeah.
You should want to throw it back out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Frown whenever you're saying it, because it's not pleasure at all.
At all. I don't hear anger. I hear, I hear anger, but I also hear that you're just very serious about, the fact that we really comprehend the meaning of that word and the effect it has on our communities, our families, our culture. And so, yeah, I feel it. Virtually, I feel it. So thank you so much for giving that definition. I pray that answers. I mean, again, obviously, like our sister said, and like I said, you can obviously go and research it yourself, but you heard it here, what that definition is. And the bottom line is the Musketeer Association has started a nationwide, a global movement that this is right in front of you. It's right in front of you. Stop fascism. Stop racism. Stop violence. We're going to talk about it. We're gonna have. She has a petition that you can go to the website and sign. I do want her to talk briefly about what happens when you sign that petition and how it does. It's a step forward.
It starts right here. It resonates in your heart. You think such a small little thing would not affect you, but prick your finger on a rose, a little needle. Don't you go, ow? And the whole body feels it. The whole body feels that prick. So what we also do, because we are asking you to sign with your heart, we send you a certificate. And if you go on the Facebook page of my Facebook page or my sister's Facebook page or Nashville, what are they called? Nashville, oh goodness. Oh, Peacemakers, that's it. Nashville Peacemakers and Moms Over Murder. They have posted the award certificates that we're giving to each person who steps forth and signs. We're not asking you for a dime. If money, people, there, my sister's got hers.
And it's going in a frame. I apologize. I still have it out in a frame, but it will be in a frame. This is something it's right in my face.
It's so beautiful and it means so much.
It does. It truly does.
And yes, of course, this movement is on a heartstring budget. And I do mean heartstring budget. However, we had to do this because the babies' bodies are still piling up, and the butterflies and bees are still dying, and we can't pollinate one thing. So we're not asking you for that. We're asking you for your heart, and just doing that one simple thing that truly does affect the heart. We send you that certificate to show you how much we appreciate what you've done. And it can be used at any job, or the students who are going to school and they need to show that they've done some activity in the community. This is a genuine certificate proven by an accepted and very well established association, the Musketeer Association. So there's so much more to talk about it, and I know we don't have a lot of time.
If you don't, actually, there is so much, and we're going to talk more about it tonight at 8 with the cast. They are so excited because we will be able to talk about each one of these pillars, if you will. We'll be able to talk about them in more detail, more with women that are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, all that.
And now you've already hit the 70s, so you got it covered, okay? Now you're covered. I'm very happy. So just
we are covered.
You're covered. So just now, unless you get some 90s, so don't wait for me to be there. I'm not really one. No, but Lord willing, however He's designed this. So I just want you to know that this, if you believe your sister, believe her. Believe this wonderful lady who you have actually been watching for decades. And she's given her whole heart to all of you and held nothing back. Go onto the Musketeer Association website, sign the petition. We'll get the certificate to you as quickly as we can. We do it because we care, and we know that it takes all of us locking arms and saying in one resounding voice, stop. VRF. And it starts right here.
It starts with the heart.
It starts right, and it will spread like wildfire. So help us do this nationwide campaign, because if you think everybody's jumping on the train, nah. No, it's not like that. Because some of them too many are making their living, feathering their nests off the misery.
Say that.
Too many are feathering their nests off the misery of the challenge.
Yep. Sister, wow. So many are building more prisons. So many are building on, feeding more hospitals to house, the mental oppression that we place people in,
Yes. Yes, and they make the money, and they're living up in their ivory tower. But if they think they can't be touched, the right now, suicide is almost 4 times that of any homicides. Homicide. What is homicide? Gun, knife, bludgeon, vehicle homicide, pushing in trains, thrown off bridges, thrown out of windows. Yes, a child thrown out at 4 years old, out a window, from a 6-story window. If I'm lying, I'm flying, and on back of me are some wings. I don't have wings. And I don't need to lie about this. You see it every day, somewhere. Because now the Lord has brought to you a nation, a globe of news, so you can see it in everywhere it is. Because it is a disease, people. And we need antibiotic and probiotic approaches to this. Our Musketeers Association has 4 projects. The Flower Pot Project is one of them. We did this nationwide campaign because VRF is coming like a train at us. We need to stop it. But all our projects will be like dots on a paper. That's why we're trying to get as many of our partners like ImPowered Women to come forward with whatever projects they're doing, but they will connect like dots on a paper and form a heart. And inside that heart are all the different projects that are ongoing and beating like this. And they're ongoing so that our children's children will never again be under the yoke of fascism, racism, violence. Not like that. Not like that. So this is a platform for the spiritual people from all walks of life. Join us. We can win this battle. And we can win the war.
Yes, we can.
This is a war.
It is.
And we're doing good. Doing good. All right, I really have said enough. I love you dearly.
I love you dearly. I know that I voice, for many that are not on this live stream right now, but many that, that are in this room with us, but they are virtually in the room and they are putting comments in the comment section. I know I voiced their same sentiment that this has been a powerful conversation, and that, it, for me, even though I've done a lot of research on your association and we've had some really in-depth conversations, it just fuels me to want to know more and want to do more. And so my prayer is that everyone who's watching today, if they're blessed with tomorrow and beyond, that they will want to do their research, they will want to join the movement, and they will want to take whatever step it takes to stop violence, racism, violence, racism and fascism. And you will join the Musketeer Association in
and my partners, all my partners too, all of us.
And they're all listed on her website as well.
Well, we haven't got everyone listed just yet, but we are working on getting everybody in. We're just beginning, everyone. Don't think that we've been here for ages, because if I had been here for ages and the bodies are still piling up, I would lock me up. Are you kidding me?
That's deep.
I would lock me up because I was making my living off that misery. No, it will not be. No, never. Ebeden. We say in Arabic, ebeden. And I promise you, never. Never. So come in with your skills sets, your intention to do good, to step forth with the intent to do good. Bring it.
Intention to do no harm. Wow, intention to do good. Everybody, we love you. Please join us tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Please, we will continue to have all of this wisdom shared by this amazing woman, and we're just so grateful to know you, to love you, and to walk in this battle with you as it relates to fighting against racism, violence, and fascism. And tonight we will have more of a tune in tonight at 8 p.m. That's right. Thank you, Minister Kaylee. Tune in tonight. Tune in tonight
at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Eastern. We will see you all then. I love you. Mwah. I love you. And we got to do our. Come on.
Do you want the Musketeer pledge, or is it too late for that?
Yes. How did I almost forget that? That's why two are better than one. Come on.
So on this, I wish to leave all of you with the Musketeer pledge, and you will find that on our website, and you'll find it on our Facebook page. Please, like the Facebook page. Let's spread this. Come on now.
Let me type it in. What is the Facebook page?
It's the Musketeer Association. The Musketeer Association Facebook page. That's it. I know Facebook has that little handle of HPTT, but you just put in the Musketeer Association in Facebook search. We'll come up. Please like the page. The more all of you are joining and locking arms with us, the better. Absolutely the better. So here's the Musketeer pledge. And this came about again from the inspiration of my son and knowing what happened to those boys. And to understand that this wasn't just happening to one family. This has been a plethora. You know what a plethora is? Mm-hmm. It's a room full of traumatized people from way back, starting, we'll do 50 years. You can fathom that.
That's right.
I pledge to stand forth as a constant reminder to myself and others to bring light, beauty, and truth, to unify, honor, and ignite a beacon of hope across our neighborhoods, our communities, our cities, and our nation. Wherever there is despair, hopelessness, oppression, injustice, fear, or humiliation, I will be that lighthouse, directing all towards safety and justice until all acts of tyranny reign no more. Not even for one of us. One for all and all for one. That is the Musketeer motto. Prayerfully, we're going to have eventually t-shirts and hats. You guys love wearing all those things, so we're going to try. This is a heartstring budget, and what's most important first is getting it out into the communities to stop VRF. Just say stop VRF.
Stop VRF. Stop it.
Stop it.
Starts with the heart.
Matter of fact, make it a household saying, and then when somebody's doing it, you just say stop VRF. Stop VRF.
Nobody got time for that.
Love it.
It has no room here. Family, we will see you all tonight. Please tune in. We're going to ask you to please share, like, follow, please. There's always going to be something positive, progressive, and purposeful here at ImPowered Woman Podcast. So we hope to see you all again. Thank you, my sister. We're so excited to talk to you tonight. Love you, love you, love you.
I can't wait to meet all the sisters again. They're my sisters, my family. I can't wait to see them again.
That's right. We are family. I had to go there.
Go there every time.
All right,
we'll
see you all later.
My salama.